Date with a psychopath. So when I was around 20, I was newly single and exploring the apps. I matched with this guy named Alex. He wasn't my usual type, but his profile seemed cool. Showed he was in school, had a car and job, plus friends, so he didn't seem weird to me at all. We got to talking and he seemed pretty into me, so we set up a date. He came to pick me up for a driving date, so basically sitting in his car for hours driving around. So we started driving, we drove for about 40 minutes all the way to downtown. Mind you, during these 40 minutes, he was blasting music at full volume with the windows down. Everyone on the sidewalk staring at us while he's screaming the lyrics out the window. When I brought up that I thought it was a little loud, he said, "Nah, everyone loves it." They in fact did not love it, I can assure you. Anyways, we get to the heart of downtown and he parks outside a very famous and prominent tower in the city and gets down on the ground and just stares at it. No warning, nothing. This is where I started to think he was a little strange. He then hopped up and said, "Let's go get some food now." It was very strange. So now we begin driving to get food, and he drives 2 cities outside of the one we're in. Essentially, we've been driving now for hours. While on this drive, he starts spewing racist BS. And then abruptly tells me that he is a very depressed and troubled person, and asked me if I have ever done the slicey-dicey to my wrists. With this, I was very taken aback and didn't really know what to say. I mean, I've known this man for a few hours at this point, and didn't think conversation would get this deep. He confided in me, and told me he had been hospitalized before for SH. At this point, the vibe he was giving off was scary, and I started to feel in danger. But I was even more scared that if I offended him, something bad could happen. Let's not forget I'm in his car. He has my home address, and I'm 2 cities out of mine. So, I played nice. We finally got to a food spot and ate some dinner. At least he paid, right? Anyways, now's when it starts to get really creepy. We begin driving again, back to our city. But he keeps taking the long way, so our 1-hour drive turns more into a 3-hour drive. At this point, we're back in the city, but it's really late at night, around 11:30 p.m. This is when he goes into a dark neighborhood, and he starts driving very fast around tight roads and corners. As he's doing this, I ask him to slow down because he's scaring me, and he turns and looks at me with no emotion and says, "You know, I've had some really hard days in my life." And I said, "I know you told me, I'm so sorry." Then he said, "I used to hurt so bad that I would come and drive my car just like this and kill squirrels so something else could hurt as much as I did." I was in shock. I was honestly very terrified with what he said, and not to mention his strangeness from the start. All I could do was ask if he still did it, and he said no, not anymore. I knew that wasn't true, but I thought if I offend him, he can easily overpower me, so play it nice again. At this point, we were very close to my home, about 10 minutes. Then abruptly he asked if I've been to this park that's coming up. This park is at the bottom of a cliff and it's the middle of the night. I have been to this park, but even if I hadn't, I would have said yes because there was no way I wanted that man to drive me down there. He then said, "Oh, perfect. I haven't. You can show me around," and took a right and drove down the very dark road to the bottom of the park, where the parking lot was completely empty with about 6 streetlights total. Needless to say, I thought I would be victim number 1. Since I'm here, I obviously wasn't, but his tone and mannerisms were so strange while we were there. He then basically forced me to kiss him pretty intimately and got handsy while I kept pushing him off. It didn't escalate past that. And then he drove me home. I blocked his number and all socials after that, but I often wonder if I really did go on a date with a psychopath.